Antonio Luna, or Puna as we called him, was my maternal grandfather. He grew up in 1930 and 1940s Southern California. In the late 1940s, he was introduced to my grandmother, Gloria Encinas, by one of his cousins. They dated for quite a few years because my grandmother didn't feel like settling down yet. But once the Korean War came, they got engaged before my grandfather left for the war. He enlisted in the army and was sent to South Korea as a military police officer. I had never heard him speak of the war until I was in my early 20s and had a roommate from South Korea, and they discussed the cold winters and the devastation that Seoul had faced. Once my grandfather returned from the war in the middle of the 1950s, he married my grandmother Gloria and settled down in Southern California. They had 4 children: Gary, Audrey, Barbara, and Paula. He was a very dedicated family man and loved his children and his wife very much. He spent as much time as he could with them and gave up his dream of being a race car mechanic in order to be with them at home and not travel all over the country. He worked for the city of Long Beach, first as a mechanic, and worked his way up and managed the fleets for over 30 years before retiring. He watched his family grow and enjoyed every moment with his son and daughters, with their spouses, and eventually with their children, his grandchildren. He would have 5 grandchildren: Craig, Leah, Kenny, Laura, and a little ways later, Muriel. He spent a lot of time with his family and traveled with his daughters so that he could be with them and see the country. He also traveled with his wife and went all around the world. He was a great grandfather and a loving father and husband, and I am very lucky to have gotten to spend 27 years with him. I will always love him and miss him.